Ever since I was a kid, I've had a passion for cooking and baking. I loved helping my mother prepare food. I started off with simple things like stirring the bowl and adding ingredients in, and then I started to do more complex things like using a knife as I got older. This made me want to go to culinary school. I started the baking program at Fox Valley Tech in 2019. I finished the baking program in 2020. I'm in the process of getting my culinary degree, and I've probably made hundreds and hundreds of cookies over my lifetime. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate chip cookies remind me of my childhood, and I want to show you how my mom taught me to make them. This is the recipe that we're going to be using. You can pause the video or take a screenshot if you need to. These are the ingredients you're going to need. 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 cup of butter softened, which is equal to 2 sticks, 3/4 cup granulated sugar, 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, 2 cups of chocolate chips, and this recipe calls for chopped nuts, but I am not adding them in. The equipment you will need are 2 mixing bowls, a rubber spatula, a regular spatula, a hand mixer, a cookie scoop, a baking sheet lined with parchment, and a wire cooling rack. Now that we have gathered all of our equipment and measured out all of our ingredients, let's get started. So now we're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So now in one of our bowls, we're adding the flour, the salt, and the baking soda. And we're going to stir it well to combine everything. Now in our other bowl, we're going to be adding our 2 sticks of butter, the granulated sugar, the brown sugar, the vanilla, and we're going to mix it until it's nice and creamy for about 2 to 3 minutes using our hand mixer. As you can see, the butter and the sugar go from a clumpy-like consistency to a smoother consistency as I continue mixing. Now we're going to add our eggs in one at a time, and we're going to beat well after each addition. So here's our second egg going in, and we're going to do the same thing. Before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure to scrape my bowl very well to make sure everything is well combined. Now it's time to combine our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients. Now we're going to be adding the flour in gradually, a little at a time, and we're going to beat it well after each addition. For every ingredient that we add, we want to make sure that everything is well combined because it's going to yield the best cookie. It's also important to note that I started on the lowest speed after each flour addition so that I didn't make a big mess everywhere. Right here you can see the batter starts to climb up my beaters, so I turned the speed up. Now I'm just scraping the beaters using my rubber spatula. I'm using the rubber spatula again to make sure that I scrape the bowl very well. Next we are adding in our chocolate chips, and I'm using my rubber spatula to stir them in. Make sure you scoop from the bottom of the bowl and bring the dough upwards. To make sure the chocolate chips are well combined, I use my hand mixer very briefly just to make sure everything is brought together evenly. Now we're going to grab our cookie scoop and our sheet tray lined with parchment, and as you can see, I'm using the side of the bowl to form a nice round ball using the scoop. The cookies are going to spread, so I place them about 1.5 to 2 inches apart on the sheet tray. Repeat this process until all of the cookie dough has been used. I'm using my hands to space out the cookie dough balls a little more evenly. Let's get these yummy cookies into the oven. We're going to bake these for about 9 to 11 minutes. We're looking for a golden brown color. This is a quick peek of what they look like about halfway through. It's been about 9 minutes and I'm going to take my cookies out of the oven. These cookies cool for about 2 minutes before I took them off the sheet tray. If you try to take the cookies off right away after they come out of the oven, they won't hold their shape as well and you might end up ruining them. You want to be gentle when taking them off the cookie sheet so that they do not break. Be sure to sample a cookie while it's still warm because that's when it'll taste the best. Be sure to let your cookies cool completely before storing in a sealed container or Ziploc. And this is what our final product looks like. Super good, super yummy, super soft, super tasty. I definitely recommend you use this recipe. And here is my impromptu taste test of these yummy chocolate chip cookies. Now just to recap, we put our wet ingredients in one bowl, we put our dry ingredients in another bowl, we creamed our butter, we combined the two bowls together, we scooped our cookies, and we baked. Some additional tips I have are that chilling the dough prevents too much spreading and doesn't leave a greasy puddle. You can use a greased baking sheet, parchment paper, or a silicone baking mat. You should never put cookie dough balls on a hot baking sheet because it melts the butter. You should rotate the pans halfway through if there's more than one pan in the oven. And you can freeze additional dough balls if you make too much dough. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Now I'm gonna go and eat some cookies. See you later.